You know, last night I did a 1-hour podcast about Bill Cosby and Cavanaugh. We talked about Bill Cosby, Cavanaugh, and a couple of the other noted guys who were accused of sexual misconduct. And the only one that's actually doing any time right now is Bill Cosby. I want to go into talking about that and how the media, on top of everybody else, is trying to put their foot on our necks. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys. You know, a couple of things I got to talk about. The first thing is, yes, my studio is finally completed. Well, in principle. I just got to hook the connections up, and once I get the connections hooked up, I'll be ready to rock and roll. Probably by the end of the week, I hope. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm looking at the end of the week. Only other thing I need to get is a couple of studio monitors for my to coincide with my live broadcast and to do some updates to it to enhance it a little bit. But everything is pretty much all systems to go. All right, now, as promised, if you guys, Spreaker, most of you Spreaker audience have not or did not get a chance to hear my podcast last night on YouTube. Usually I do a combined podcast with both Spreaker and YouTube. And I didn't. I just did a YouTube Hangout podcast last night. Was basically YouTube Google Hangout. And I went extensively into what I usually talk about the situation with Bill Cosby, as well as Cavanaugh and others. And I had to go. I went a little ham on it. I had to, man, because it's been eating me up. You know, the media, the white stream media, decide, you know, what's fair and what should be told instead of what we really need to hear. And in essence, the white stream media is the ones actually dictate or they try to dictate a specific outcome, and they generate that specific outcome to the public to persuade the powers that be what should be done in order for them to get views. I'm telling you, all this sensationalism. Someone else brought an interesting topic regarding regarding the trials. And it just dawned on me when they said it. Basically, what they said was that when you watch these trials, notice the trials has the names of the victims in the trial. That usually isn't the case if someone is defending themselves in a trial against a black, against a racist murder. I noticed that. I've noticed that a lot. Why are these guys on my ass like this morning? This don't make no fucking sense. You're not gonna get that much more out of me other than 65. That's it. But nevertheless, they do this every fucking morning. Nevertheless, notice the trials have the names of the victims in the trial name. The case, the Trayvon Martin case, the Mike Brown case. I mean, really? The Eric Gardner case. None of them are not the case about Daniel, doesn't say Daniel Patalio or Darren Wilson or George Zimmerman, the case against, blah, blah. No. The media put the names of the victims as though they're on trial. And they're right. I'm talking about the person that said that, they're absolutely right. This is what they do. And they do it intentionally. Hey, fuck you later. That's my ass like that. Don't make no damn sense. These people do this every morning. Yeah. Every morning. But it makes no sense. That how is it that you got trials and the names of the trials are the Trayvon Martin trial? Seriously? As though the victim is on trial instead of the daggone person who did the the alleged murder. Well, in the case of George Zimmerman, that wasn't alleged. He did it. I'm sorry. He definitely did it. And so did Darren Wilson, and so did Daniel Patel. But the media, I have to blame for a lot of reasons why these trials go the way they go. The mainstream media, or the white stream media, which is what I call it because that's who predominantly owns most of the media in this country and this world. And like I said, if you want to follow my latest live podcast on YouTube, you have to go to youtube.com and look up my channel, For All to Hear TV, which is FORALL, the number 2, HEAR. That's FORALL, the number 2, HEAR. For All to Hear TV on YouTube, guys. So, in any case, the media has been doing this a lot. And the way it's going now, man, it's like the country want to focus. And somebody else brought up something about this too. This country has had a long history of messing with our most prominent black celebrities. They've been doing it for years. And somebody was they went all the way back to Jack Johnson. Now, that's true. They fuck with Jack Johnson. They fuck with Ali. And we can go on and on and on. It's like, well, we don't care how famous y'all niggas get. We're going to show you that we hold the power. And that's the kind of games they play. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb on it. I know white people. I work with white people. Am I friends with these white people outside of work? No, I'm not, actually. There was one guy who I did work with that was pretty cool, man. And he actually invited me over to his house and everything. And I never did get a chance to go. I lost contact with him. Really good dude. And yeah, he was a country boy by heart, but he was a really, really nice guy. We worked together all the time, man. I actually miss talking to him. But beyond that, I don't have any white friends. I try, and this is me personally, I try not to put hate, I try not to have hate in my heart for nobody. And I really, to be honest, for the most part, I don't. But people who know that this, who know people who doing this shit is generally the people who I actually despise, because to me, you're protecting those very people who are doing it. That's what gets to me. Honestly. That's what gets to me a lot. But it's, the mainstream media and the bully pulpit of Fox News, which is on another level, decides they want to control what we think and what we hear and what we see. Unfortunately, they took over BET and TV One. Because really, they're just two networks that are owned by the white stream media that generates black content on television. That's all they do. There is no black-owned media in terms of major markets. There's none. BET had a president that actually was in partnership with a white guy, just like OWN. OWN is not a black-owned media. And definitely not now, because Oprah sold 25% of her stock. She was a partial owner. As much money as she got, she could have just went on and just took total control. But she didn't want to do that. She did not want to do that. You know. On some respects, I don't blame her. But in other respects, I would have been like, you know what? Why didn't you just sell 50% of your stock or 25% of your stock to a black company, an upstart media company that actually was prominent enough that could have helped sustain the network along with you, and it could have been completely 50% black owned along with you. But no, Oprah, you sold 25%. You were out to make a profit. We all know that. That's the real reason you got some skin in the game on it, because of that. You know, that's a known fact. But no, she sold the 25% back to the white people. Yes, that's exactly what she did. And she has only 25% left, which means at some point within the next 5 years, it will be overtaken. And it will, OWN likely will cease to exist anymore, which is a shame, because they got such great programming on there, man. They really do. The programming on it is tremendous. I think 2019 celebrates the 10th anniversary. That's a damn shame, man. And I'm still disappointed in that. But it's also a damn shame that you got all these black players out here. And I'm talking about not just in there are black media executives out here. There are black moguls out here. There are enough black people to start a network, a major network, but no one's doing it. I'm surprised there are NFL players who were out there kneeling the last 2 years that didn't start one up themselves. Notice they don't kneel anymore. No, at least I haven't been any reports of it. But I also stopped watching the NFL too, by the way. Yesterday, for some strange reason, I just couldn't get into the games. There were like 2 or 3 overtimes yesterday in 3 major games. I didn't watch any of them. The Browns actually lost another nail biter. I don't recall if it was an overtime or not, but they did lose a hard-fought game to the Raiders. Dallas won. I didn't see that one. Of course, when they always win when I don't watch them, but that's another story. But it's funny that we do all this protesting and stuff, and I thought about that. Yet we don't own 1% of the, media market that controls what we have to say about what's going on in our communities. No, we really don't. That in itself is a damn shame. It really, truly is. That's why I'm saying thank God for social media. I'm still working to have a little bit of an independence in myself. One of the things I would like to do for myself personally is start my own website where I can actually produce my own content and own the content that's on there outright. There's other content I have never released that I do own personally, but I've never been able to release it to the public because I don't own my own website, number one, and I would probably have to get the rights to some of the music on there. Whereas YouTube, I can play music that's pretty much owned and run by YouTube, but it's on YouTube, But I would like to get my own, at some point, I would like to love to get my own website where I can actually put my own stuff on there and control the stuff that I post on there. I know it's one thing last night that happened when I was doing my live video podcast with that. Was that at one point the whole screen went black. The entire screen went black. It happened twice last night, and I'm thinking that's because someone actually is recording my podcast on there. There's no doubt about it. I know they are, because I've heard of several prominent YouTubers that has happened to. And the sound changed and everything. And matter of fact, it happened on me a few times. I know my channel's been fucked with. That's why I only have 170 subs. Not that I don't appreciate it. I thank each and every one of you for subbing to my channel. But I know that's been fucked with because I should have a lot more than 170 subscribers. I know that. You know, and I think YouTube, they don't, how can I put it? For some reason, my subjects aren't seen as much or as often as other channels are. And I've been in this game for a while. I've been doing it diligently for about 5 years. Probably really about almost 6 years, but more than not the last 5. But I do feel that honestly, I feel that there is a need for me to grow. There's a need for many social media channels like mine for me to be heard. Some of us do it more than others. Some of us do it a little less. You know, a couple of subs who follow me actually they do it sometimes. I do mines, well, I try to do mines at least once a day or 3 or 4 times a week so I can keep current with what's going on. And I basically try to talk about a lot of stuff that's on my mind based on the subjects that I'm hearing and seeing and reading about that strikes a chord in me. And when it strikes a chord in me, I'm ready to talk. I'll be honest with you, because it's there's things about a lot of current events that's going on that really hits me hard, like the Cosby thing. That thing hit me kind of hard. I grew up on Bill Cosby. You know, I talked about this before, and I'm still talking about it now. And it really does. I mean, I watched Bill Cosby my entire life, literally my entire life. I remember watching I Spy when I was 2 years old. You know, when it was still on television. You know, and that's how far back I go with Bill Cosby. I go back a long ways with him, man, over 50 years. And it's really a shame. And it's also very heartbreaking to watch the man who I grew up watching as a very, very young, as a toddler, really. To watch him at 81 years old being carted off behind bars in the twilight of his life. It hurts. You know? It hurts so bad. It really do. I'm really sad to see that, man. This is a guy who was the pinnacle of comedy in Hollywood. Like somebody said, not just black comedy in general. He was like the biggest icon in comedy. Even guys like Jerry Seinfeld and George Carlin to Chris Rock and followed this guy. You know, sort of. Well, I don't maybe not Chris Rock, but definitely guys like Seinfeld for certain. You know, looked up to Cosby. But I still believe that Cosby, for the most part, was innocent. I do believe that. Yet the media try to paint him as a sexual predator, which I have a problem with. How are you going to paint this guy? All of a sudden, you paint him as a sexual predator. Most of the trial didn't even label him as I take that back, as a violent sexual predator. The media said he was a violent sexual predator. He wasn't even known in the trials as a violent sexual predator. He wasn't known for hitting these women. Now, once it ever come up, but the media put a spin on something that wasn't true, just like they do with everything else. You know? Now, granted, some of it, and I can say some of it may have been of his own doing, considering he did cheat on his wife numerous times, and it was documented. But I really do not believe that he did it to all the women. And I don't believe he did it to all those women willingly either. I really do not believe that. I've been saying for years. And he only actually admitted to one. But that's all it took. That's all they was waiting on. You meant the one, we got you. Initially, this thing was a mistrial because they didn't have enough for them. Well, we got to retry them again. After a mistrial, a complete mistrial on it, you are retrial for something that you didn't have any proof on the first time. And we're going to retry them again for the same thing. That's bullshit in itself. You know, y'all was out to get Cosby. Y'all was out to make Cosby an example from day one. Anything said, well, you know what? If you achieve this is what's going to happen to you. And that's basically what it is. Like NFL, you can't even express your feelings about what's going on in your communities with these officers and shit, and these and people all over the NFL, white people predominantly. Man, you need to go ahead and play the game, nigga. We're paying for it. You want to do this? Yeah, motherfucker, we're going to do this. Colin Kaepernick said, fuck all y'all. And you know what? I'm riding this camp on that. Yep. I sure as hell do, because he's damn right about it. He is. There's no doubt about that. I totally agree with Colin Kaepernick. I stand toe to toe with him on it. I really do. With him. I stand shoulder to shoulder, border to border with him on it, because he's right. We tired of being treated like, second class people, man. Many of us African Americans were born in this country. Okay? We had a couple of generations of family born in this country. Just like many of you have. And yet we're still treated like second class citizens. Do you know Katrina? Prime example. In Katrina, okay? I mean, not in Katrina. Katrina happened in New Orleans in 2005. I was out there that same year, matter of fact, a couple months earlier. But when Katrina hit, what did they refer to black people as? African Americans as? Refugees. In other words, and this was the media's doing. The media referred to African Americans as refugees. They sure as hell did. I was so pissed off. And even Aaron Neville's daughter actually said that too. I hadn't seen her in a minute. But, yeah, she said the same thing. I said, how you going to refer them your people? You refer your own people as refugees? Really? They aren't refugees. They're not from other countries. They're here. Many were homeless as a result, but they were not refugees. But the media, when it comes to people of color, when it comes to black people, African Americans, we are always treated like second class citizens. What really, pisses me off that this media is supposedly is fair and balanced, and they we try to put the honest truth. No, they don't. None of them do. Not even the Washington Post down here. Definitely not Fox, CNN. None of them do. None of them are about fair and balanced. And something else that the media has done, of course, since the days of post Obama. Not all of the black news shows that were run on CNN and Fox and MSNBC, particularly with Al Sharpton, they virtually cease to exist anymore. Gone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. They really don't give a fuck. They don't. That's a damn shame. We have as much to say about what's going on in this country, particularly about us, as anybody else do in this country, about themselves. And yet, we're still treated like shit. Even by the mainstream, the white stream media. Someone else referred to it as the lamestream media, which it is lame. I'll say that too. But to all the social media people out there, keep doing what you're doing. Keep it honest, but keep it true, and make sure they hear you. This is for all to hear. My name is DJ Wolf, and the program again, my program, is DJ Wolf Live. I'm out.